In today's video, I want to share with you why I chose the BQool AI Repricer to be the repricer in my 7-figure Amazon business over all other repricers on the market. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Steve and I've been selling on Amazon for over 10 years. And one of the key elements of successfully making money on Amazon is making sure that you are pricing your items correctly. And as you grow from a 5-figure to maybe a 6 or a 7 or even an 8-figure seller, you need to make sure that you're pricing your items correctly, because on Amazon, over 80% of the sales are coming from the buy box. So you need to make sure that you have a method or a strategy in place to make sure your items are priced to sell. Now, when you're first getting started on Amazon, you don't really need a repricer. You might only have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 items to reprice. But as you build your catalog and as your sales grow, it becomes more and more time consuming. And that's where an automated repricer comes into play. Now, if you're in a market for a repricer, you might be completely overwhelmed because there are a ton of repricers that you could choose from. But I'm going to be sharing the repricer that I've been using for over 5 years and my favorite repricer, to be 100% honest. Now, I'm not here to bash other repricers because I'm sure there's other great repricers on the market, but I just want to share my experience and why I chose the repricer that I'm going to be talking about today, and breaking down some of the benefits and maybe some of the reasons why you might want to consider getting this one that I've been using. Also, to give a bit more context about my business, right now in my business, I do online arbitrage. I've sold over 10,000 items over the last year for over $1 million. And I've got over 1,500 items in my store and over 700 ASINs. So for me, it's imperative to have a repricer that does a really good job and doesn't tank prices. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you the top 5 reasons why I chose the repricer BQool, why I've been with them for over 5 years, and why I don't plan on choosing any other repricer for my Amazon business. All right, let's get into the first reason why I chose BQool over all other repricers, because there's a lot of them on the market. First off, BQool was founded in 2011. Their Amazon repricing software has been available since 2013. And for me, this was very important. And this is something that everybody should keep in mind. When you sign up for a repricer, that's not just a software tool that you have. It's literally a partner that can do really, really good for you, but can also hurt your business. I've heard of and I've used other repricers in the past, and I'm not going to bash any here, but you can do your research on the Reddit forums, so on and so forth. But I've had repricers that have caused chaos in my business, that have tanked my prices, that have gone outside of my min and maximum prices, repricers that claim to have all these strategies in place, and all it did was literally lose me money. I wanted to be using a repricer that has been around for a long time. And the thing about BQool is they haven't only been around since 2011. They're 15 years old, but they've served over 100,000 other Amazon sellers. They're not the new kid on the block. They've been around. They built out their systems. Now, are they perfect and do they make mistakes from time to time? Of course. I mean, every single repricer out there is going to have some issues, and that's just any software in general. But overall, what I loved is they had the reputation, they had the brand, they've been around. And another thing to keep in mind that's really important is their customer service is absolutely incredible. If you have a question, if you have an issue, you could send them an email, you could jump on live support. And I remember when I first signed up for BQool about 5 years ago, I was on a call with an agent for probably about an hour and a half. So for me, I think it's very important, especially with any software tool, not just repricers, but if it's a sourcing tool, if it's any tool, they should be able to jump on and help you, because a lot of these softwares are very complex. And that's something that I really appreciated about BQool and something that you should consider. Even if you decide not to use BQool, and I'm not here to pitch you on BQool, I'm just sharing with you the truth, you should make sure it's somebody that you trust, who has a good reputation, and it's not just a software that was maybe vibe coded with ChatGPT over the last 6 months. Now, the second reason why I chose the BQool AI repricer over all other repricers is because it gave me a lot more control to reprice my items. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why do I need a repricer? I could just use the Amazon repricer and I could set up my minimum price and my max price and my list price. And that's true, but the problem is it's lacking a lot of control. There's no AI features, and you're kind of locked into just a few simple rules. There's really no automations. There's really no flexibility. And I actually want to take you into my screen right now and show you a couple examples, because this was the selling point for me for why I chose BQool over all other repricers. All right, guys, so we're inside of my computer right now, and I want to show you a couple of the, hands-on things that I really love about BQool that, really just sold me on things and why you might want to consider checking out BQool. Now, if you guys are interested in checking out BQool, I'll put a link down below in the description where you can check it out and get an extended free trial if you want to check it out for free for 30 days. Now, to start things off, what I really love here is when you log into BQool, you can actually see how many sales your, AI repricer generated. So for example, you can see so far this month that I have made $112,000, almost $113,000 in AI sales. You can see how many of the orders came in because of the AI repricer. My buy box wins, which is 43%. You can see all of the listings right here, which are going to include active and inactive, which you could go in and you can adjust active listings. It has a cool little graph right here. And then you could actually scroll down here under best selling and you'll be able to see your products and whatnot, which are probably blurred out here. I mean, I love you guys, but these are my best selling products. Anyways, you can see the rules that were used for each one of the sales, which I'm going to cover in a couple of minutes. You could see how many sales it made, how many orders, and you could even see the buy box percentage. So for example, this item right here, I had 2 orders for $954. I was using the AI equalizer rule set right here, and I was winning the buy box 56% of the time. Matter of fact, if I scroll up here, this item right here, I was using the AI equalizer as well, and it made 6 sales for almost $1,800, and I was winning the buy box 73% of the time. Now also, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom right here under listing overview, you can see the channel that you are using. So I'm selling on Amazon.US. You can actually pause your repricer as well for various reasons if you want to. I have 2,830 AI powered listings. Now those aren't all active. Some of them are inactive. You can see rule-based listings, which I don't use. I have 23 inactive listings. I've got 1,300 deleted listings. It even shares with me how many I'm missing a minimum maximum price and a rule. So I'll have to share that with my team. And you can see how many are not in the buy box, how many are at minimum price, how many are at maximum price, how many listings I'm the only seller, and how many listings have competition below the minimum, which might not always apply because I am an FBA seller. And a lot of times I'm not the lowest price, which is fine because you could still win the buy box not being the lowest price, especially if you're competing against merchant fulfilled sellers. So what I want to do, guys, is I actually want to go into my listings and I'm going to go into my active listings and I want to show you how easy it is to reprice and talk to you a little bit about the rules, which again was a huge selling point for me for why I chose the BQool AI repricer. All right, so here I am now and I'm inside of the BQool AI repricer and I want to show you what really sold me on this repricer, and it's one of the best parts of the BQool repricing right here. So when you come into the dashboard, you're going to be able to see if your repricer is on or off. So if I wanted to pause it, I can pause it like that, or I could turn it back on, which is really great. Here you can see the custom SKU of the item right here. So LO stands for Little Owl. I paid $15 for this item in June. And you can see, some different things in my SKU. You can see it's active, it's new condition. Now here, normally you'd be able to see the title and you'd be able to see the ASIN. Now I probably have that blurred out because again, a lot of these are really, amazing reprints. And as much as I would love to share them with everybody, I don't want to give myself undue competition if I don't need to. But you can see it's FBA. And here you can see, this is what's really cool. You can see how much of the buy box you're winning that BQool is helping you with. And if you check this out right here, I'm winning the buy box on this listing 90% of the time, okay? And I'm number 2 out of 20. This is the rank. And here you can actually save some notes. So you can see that my assistant Marlon repriced this on July 24th. And this is just really great if you want to save notes. And then here, there's actually a SellerAmp integration right here. Now, SellerAmp has a couple different integrations. Number one, if you click this button right here, it'll pull up the actual SellerAmp Chrome extension and you could run the numbers, you can analyze it. You could look at the buy box statistics. I mean, if you're not using SellerAmp, definitely get a free trial to them as well. I'll put a link down below. I'm in love with SellerAmp. But they also have another integration as well, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, where you don't have to wait for the items to go live in order for your min, max prices and your rules to be set. SellerAmp and BQool has an integration that will automatically push it through that you can do directly through SellerAmp, which is really cool. I'll share with you guys a video about how to do that in a little bit. But if we scroll over to the right, you can see the date this item was created. You can see the quantity of items here. So you can see I have 8 inbound, 3 reserved, 17 total. So this is really where the magic happens here. So you can actually see your buy cost right here, which is 15, okay? You can put your minimum price in and your maximum price, and think of that as like your guardrails, okay? When I used to use some other repricers, matter of fact, I'll name one that I stopped using. It was called Reprice It. I didn't like it, right? I had a lot of issues with it. Again, I'm not bashing Reprice It. I don't want to bash any other repricers because I know some people love it. But for me, I just had a lot of issues. I couldn't set up the min max price. It wasn't working. It would tank the prices. Again, maybe I was making mistakes with it, but with BQool, you could set up these min max prices and it's like a guardrail with your repricing strategy. So for example, here, my minimum price is $43.99, my max price is $50.99, and my list price is $44.60. So it will not go below $43.99 and it will not go above $50.99. So that means it's kind of like a guardrail within your repricing strategy. Now, the only way that you can actually have that price tank outside of the minimum or the maximum price and go way above it is if you set up conditional rules, which I'll talk about a little bit. But this is where the real magic happens, is all you have to do is set up your min and your max price, and then you can choose a rule, okay? Now, I'm not gonna go through every single one of these rules right here, but think of the AI equalizer as kind of like a middle ground pricing strategy. It's not gonna reprice based on its AI algorithm all the way down to the minimum price. It's not gonna price it all the way up to the maximum price. It's gonna price in the middle ground. Now, if you chose AI grow profit, it's gonna price it to make you more profit, right? Okay, to grow your profit. It's not gonna be the most aggressive rule. For example, if I wanted to choose AI max profit, it would be pricing it to maximize your profit, which means it would stay more towards your maximum price. Now, for example, if I chose AI sales booster, which I actually just changed by accident, it would actually reprice the items based upon your minimum and maximum price to boost the sales, right? Going a little bit lower towards your minimum price to boost the sales. Now, again, BQool has a bunch of different settings that you could play around with, and I highly recommend that you mess around with these different settings right here. But it's so cool because all you have to do is set up a minimum price and a maximum price, choose your rule, and the AI BQool repricer will reprice it based upon what essentially you want it to do. Now, another cool feature of BQool, which I really like, is say, for example, I sold this item for $43.99 and I want to know like how much profit would I make. I could hit this calculator right here and it'll load up. What if I sold it for $43.99 considering my product cost? Now, I do have some overhead of $7 right here, so you can actually go and you can put in like your prep fees, miscellaneous fees. I have a $7 fee. It'll break down the referral fees, the FBA fee, and it'll share the actual profit, margin, and ROI. So if I sold this for my minimum price, I'd make about $12 profit, 28% net margin, and 56% ROI, which is really cool because I have somebody on my team who reprices for me, and I never want them to reprice too low or too high where the item's gonna take too long to sell. And every business is different, but I want them to hit certain metrics, right? Certain profit minimums, certain margin minimums, certain ROI minimums, and this calculator makes it very easy. Now, another cool thing that I like here as well, and also I did skip over your list price. So you do have to choose a minimum price, a maximum price, and then your list price, what it'll actually be listed for when it goes live on Amazon. But here you'll be able to actually see if you're winning the buy box, and even more importantly, how long this item has been in your inventory, the inventory age. So you can see right here that it is marked between 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, so on and so forth. And you can see that, like for example, this listing above it has been in my inventory for 31 to 60 days. The one below it, 0 to 30 days. The one below it, 31 to 60 days. So this really helps you, or if you have someone on your team like I do, to really get a better feel for how aggressive or how much less aggressive they should be on the repricing based upon how long it's been in your inventory. For me personally, in my business, we're trying to sell our items within 1 to 2 months. So if it's been in inventory for 91 to 180 days or 181 to 270 days, we know we're gonna maybe have to change the minimum price. We're probably gonna have to choose more of an aggressive AI repricing rule because again, we wanna move the inventory out. Now, the third reason why I chose the BQool Repricer, and I'm not gonna go too deep into the weeds on this because I don't wanna make this video an hour long, is if you want, okay, you can build out what are known as conditional repricing rules, okay? So essentially what a conditional repricing rule is an advanced rule. And again, this is advanced because you could get yourself into trouble if you do this the wrong way. But essentially you can create conditional rules where, for example, you have an item that's been sitting in FBA for, I don't know, let's just say 90 days or more. You can actually switch it to a more aggressive repricing strategy. And on top of that, let's just say, for example, you wanted to go a step further, you can actually lower the minimum acceptable price or even use a more aggressive strategy. So the reason why I say you have to be careful with this is because if you do not set up the rules correctly, you could significantly lower your minimum price, and you can have a rule that essentially would just attack the price lower and lower. So you've got to set it up correctly, and you've got to put, some good guardrails in place. Now, some of these conditional repricing rules that you can use are changing the min-max price in your rule based upon inventory age, sell-through rate, historical days of supply, advanced FBA conditions. If you're a merchant fulfilled seller, advanced FBM conditions. And also the advanced conditions could look at factors such as how many units have been sold of a particular ASIN, how much inventory you currently have for that particular ASIN within your Amazon business, buy box win percentage, whether the buy box is suppressed, how long the listing has been at its minimum price, whether the listing has failed to win the buy box, and whether inventory has been restocked recently. So as a recap, what happens when a conditional rule is triggered? So essentially, you can have BQool switch to another AI or rule-based repricing strategy. You could change the minimum price based on profit, ROI, margin, or the lowest price. You can move your price relative to the buy box, current price, lowest price, minimum price, or maximum price. You could set a fixed price, or you could temporarily stop repricing the listing. Conditional repricing lets me automatically change how aggressively BQool reprices an item based on what is happening with that product. For example, I could protect my profit when an item is selling well, but automatically become more aggressive if that same item has been sitting in inventory for several months. So again, this is a very powerful feature, the conditional repricing within BQool. And that's one of the reasons why I chose BQool's AI Repricer. But again, with the advanced powers that it possesses, you do have to be careful with it, and you have to make sure that you set it up correctly. All right, guys, so now I want to share with you one of the number one reasons why I decided to choose BQool over other repricers, and it's the BQool Seller Amp integration. So you guys probably know Seller Amp is, a big part of the Rake and Profit channel. It's a tool that I've been using for many years. They've been a sponsor for many years on the channel. I've met the whole crew at Seller Amp, also with BQool as well. And this one feature is literally a game changer for me and for my team. So if you're using Seller Amp, and I'm gonna show you a screen share right here, there's actually a BQool integration with Seller Amp right here. And what you can actually do after you purchase an item, you can actually fill out your product cost. So for example, I bought this item for $82. You could put in any additional costs as well, such as overhead. You could choose your minimum price, your maximum price. You could choose your repricing rule, and you could enable it. And what you could essentially do is you can push this through. So when the item actually gets to Amazon and actually goes live and is active, it'll automatically go live with your minimum price, with your maximum price, with the repricing rule. So for example, here you can see that we chose the rule AI Sales Booster. So when it goes live on Amazon, all of these rules are set, it goes live. And the reason this is important is because if you're using other repricers, you're gonna have to wait for it to go live, okay? You're gonna have to go in, wait for it to go live. Every day you're gonna have to go into your repricer, which a lot of repricers, you're gonna have to go in live, you're gonna have to find it, then you're gonna have to research what the minimum price is, the maximum price, what rule you wanna set, you're gonna have to enable it. And sometimes you might not have your processes dialed in, and it just hurts your sales because your items aren't being repriced. And with BQool's AI Repricer, once it literally goes live, boom, as long as you pushed it through with Seller Amp, all your rules, the AI algorithm repricer, it's all gonna be live. It's gonna be repricing immediately and help you to win the buy box so much faster. And why is this important? Because 80% of the sales on Amazon are coming through the buy box. And this is the whole freaking reason why I use BQool, because it helps me to win the buy box more. And this integration right here, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. If you're using Seller Amp, you gotta use BQool. All right, guys, so I know this is a freaking long video, but I really wanted to make a video because people ask me all the time, why do you use BQool? Now, I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot more features to BQool that I didn't cover. And I just want to make a video sharing my honest truth of why I use BQool over other repricers, right? And again, if you want to try them out, check the link down below. There's an extended 30-day trial. But the main reason I would say, honestly, and this is going to sound silly, out of all the things that I mentioned, the main reason I like to use it is because it's just a very easy interface, okay? I'm not the brightest bulb out there, okay? When my mama told me I was special, I don't know what she was referring to, but I'm being 100% honest. Like, I get very confused with softwares. I get very overwhelmed with softwares. And if it's complex and there's a million different things that I need to do, and if I got to bounce all around, like I can't handle, I own my own software as well, right? Replun Catcher. And I built that to be super easy because there's all these other softwares out there that are so complex. I want a software that's easy, that's a good interface, that there's not a million different buttons. I love the integration with SellerAmp. I love that I can save notes. I love that I can see everything in one place. And that's honestly at the end of the day, and I'm gonna be 100% real, I'm sure there's other repricers out there that might even be better that I don't know about, right? I know there's other ones that are worse, but at the end of the day, you've got to find something that works best for you. And for me, I need something that has not only the features, but something that is clean, something that's easy to use, that has a simple interface. You know, I've got multiple people on my team that log in to BQool. A lot of them are from the Philippines, they're not from the United States, they're not Amazon sellers. I needed something that was simple. And at the end of the day, it's something that's simple, it's something that's easy, it's something that works very well. The company's been around for what, 15 years? They've served 100,000 Amazon sellers based on what I've researched online. And I've met the people who run the company. They've been to all of the conferences. So again, I'm not here to sell you on it, right? It's not like I work for BQool, but having a good repricer in your corner isn't just a software, it is a partner. And it's a partner just like a prep center. You could have the best Amazon business in the world, but if your prep center screws you over, your business is toast. It's the same thing with a repricer. You could have all the best products in the world, but if you're not repricing your items quickly to win the buy box, you're done, you're toast, you're cooked. So hopefully this video added some context. Again, I know it was a long-winded video, but I wanted to have a video that I could send out to everybody on YouTube, that I could send out to my coaching clients, to the people in Reselling Freedom, Replun Catcher. So hopefully this answers the question for why I chose BQool over all other repricers. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, let me know down below in the comments. And again, if you want to check out BQool, I highly recommend getting a free 30-day trial through my link down below, rakeandprofit.com/BQool, and give it a shot, guys. I'm telling you, it's made a tremendous impact in my business. It's helped me to win the buy box much more, to sell items faster. And in my particular online arbitrage model, you know, sometimes we're spending over $100,000 a month. I need my cash to come back, and I need it to come back quickly. And having BQool as a partner, as my repricing software that I'm using, it's just made a tremendous improvement to my business. And it's allowed me over the last year to double my sales. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Smash that like button, show some love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.